let's just jump right in. Look, you're an ambitious professional, right? You're out there trying to navigate a genuinely complex career, trying to make smart decisions, and ultimately, get exactly what you want out of life. But how do you actually systematize success? How do you strip all the guesswork out of those daily decisions? Well, in today's explainer, we are condensing a massive, absolute brick of a 500-page manual, Ray Dalio's legendary book, Principles, Life and Work, into just about 8 minutes of high-leverage knowledge. Dalio built Bridgewater Associates into literally one of the most important private companies in the world. And the crazy thing? He did it using a very specific, repeatable set of rules. We're going to break down exactly what those rules are, and more importantly, how you can apply them to your own life today. So here's our agenda for this explainer. We'll be hitting 5 key areas. First, the power of principles, then embrace reality and fail well. Next up is the 5-step success process, followed by radical open-mindedness, and we'll wrap it all up with the idea meritocracy.
All right, moving into section 1, the power of principles.
Now, before we go any further, we need to know what a principle actually is. Basically, it's a fundamental truth that serves as the foundation for behavior that gets you what you want out of life. I want you to think of a principle kind of like a recipe for success. Because, let's face it, every single day, life throws incredibly unique situations at you. Without principles, you're basically forced to react to every single crisis as if it's the very first time it's ever happened. You're constantly reinventing the wheel, and usually the wheel ends up square. But when you have these fundamental truths in your back pocket, you can categorize situations. You can say, okay, this is just another one of those situations, and quickly apply the right recipe to make a vastly better decision in way less time.
But here's the thing, Dalio didn't just invent these out of thin air. He learned them the hard way, through some incredibly painful mistakes. If you look at his early career, it is basically a highlight reel of severe miscalculations. Back in 1966, he got burned by a stock market top he totally missed. Then in 1971, Nixon floated the dollar, completely broke the gold standard, and totally blindsided Dalio in the markets. And if that wasn't enough, in 1973, an oil shock caused the market to just take a massive dive. But these incredibly painful, inciting incidents were absolutely crucial. They forced a massive paradigm shift in his brain. He literally went from arrogantly thinking, I know I'm right, to humbly asking, how do I know I'm right? And honestly, that shift changes everything.
That brings us to section 2, embrace reality and fail well.
And at the absolute core of this is a super punchy equation. Pain plus reflection equals progress. Going directly toward pain rather than running away from it is the ultimate driver of personal progress. Think about it. Most people run from their mistakes because, well, it hurts their ego. Dalio argues you have to do the exact opposite. When you crash and burn, that pain is actually a signal. If you can sit with it, really reflect on why you crashed, you extract a gem, a brand new principle. That right there is how you progress.
It all feeds into this incredibly powerful loop. It goes like this. You start by setting an audacious goal. On the way to that goal, inevitably, you fail. I mean, it's going to happen. But from that failure, you learn principles. Those new principles allow you to improve, and that improvement allows you to set an even more audacious goal next time. It's this continuous upward spiral. The whole secret here isn't avoiding failure. It's knowing how to strive for a lot and fail well, without getting knocked completely out of the game. Building right on top of that, we get our second massive formulaic anchor. Dreams plus reality plus determination equals a successful life. Listen, idealists who aren't actually grounded in reality, they simply create problems. They just wish things were different and get perpetually frustrated when they aren't. But the people who anchor their grandest dreams in a hyper-realistic understanding of the world's actual cause and effect relationships and then apply fierce determination, those are the folks who drive true progress. All right, section 3, the 5-step success process. So Dalio actually systematized this into a literal blueprint for action, laid out sequentially. Step 1, have clear goals. Step 2, identify your problems and absolutely do not tolerate them. Step 3, diagnose those problems to get at their actual root causes, not just the surface-level symptoms. Step 4, design a plan to get around them. And Step 5, push through to completion. Now, the absolute genius of this is realizing that almost no one is good at all 5 steps. Seriously, everyone typically fails at one of these. Maybe you're an amazing visionary who sets great goals, but you're just terrible at pushing through to completion. The whole trick is to identify your weak step and build heavy guardrails around it, usually by partnering with people who are strong exactly where you're weak. Moving on to section 4, radical open-mindedness. Okay, so to actually execute that 5-step process, you have to understand that there are literally Two yous fighting for control inside your head every single day. You've got the upper-level logical brain. This is the good part of you that wants to learn, grow, and objectively look at your flaws so you can fix them. But then you also have the lower-level emotional brain, the amygdala, which absolutely hates discovering its own weaknesses. It literally perceives criticism as a physical attack. You have to radically open your mind to make sure the logical side wins that battle.
So, how do you actually do that in the real world? Well, here is how you put radical open-mindedness into practice. First, you have to sincerely believe you might not know the best path. Hard to do, but essential. Second, suspend your judgment just long enough to genuinely see things through other people's eyes. Third, actively seek out believable, smart people who actually disagree with you. And fourth, overcome your own ego and blind spots. What you're trying to do here is triangulate your views with smart people to make better expected value calculations. Frankly, you shouldn't care if the right answer comes from you. You should just want to find the right answer.
And finally, Section 5, the idea meritocracy. Now we scale this up. I want you to really lean into this analogy. Dalio views an organization simply as a machine. And what is that machine actually made of? It's just two things: culture and people. Those two parts interact to produce all of your outcomes. So if your outcomes aren't what you want, you don't just blindly work harder, right? No, you get above the blizzard, you look down at your machine, and you diagnose what's broken with either the culture or the people. You have to act like the mechanic operating the machine.
And the ultimate culture for that organizational machine is what he calls the idea meritocracy. Dalio defines this framework as a literal formula. Idea meritocracy equals radical truth plus radical transparency plus believability-weighted decision-making. Let's unpack that. Radical truth means no one hides their critical opinions, ever. Radical transparency means everyone sees everything, the good, the bad, and the really ugly mistakes. And believability-weighted decision-making, that means the best ideas win, regardless of hierarchy, but more weight is given to the opinions of people who actually have a proven track record of being right. It is a system designed to convert independent thinking and thoughtful disagreement into the smartest possible group decisions. But to survive in an idea meritocracy, you absolutely have to understand the difference between first-order consequences and second- and third-order consequences. Remember that lower-level emotional brain we talked about? It only sees the first-order consequence. It says, oh man, if I tell my coworker they made a mistake, it's going to be super awkward and painful right now. But people in a true idea meritocracy push past that immediate first-order pain to reap the massive second- and third-order rewards. We're talking rapid learning, true excellence, and ultimately, deeply meaningful work and meaningful relationships. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a direct challenge. Ask yourself this: what do you want out of life, and what is true? Dalio's entire system rests on your personal courage to answer those two things honestly. You have to clearly define exactly what you want, stare directly into the sometimes really harsh reality of what is true, and then apply these systemic principles to build your own personal and professional machines to bridge that gap. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to In 8 Minutes and never miss what matters.